everyone. Welcome to Mind Body TV. I'm Dr. Kim Duramo. I'm super excited to connect with you live or if you're listening to the recording. Today, I'm going to be talking about how to release limitation, releasing limiting beliefs, releasing limiting ideas or perspectives, things that are holding you back. And these can come in the form of like the way you were raised or what you think about yourself or what you believe is possible in the world, what can happen and what cannot happen. And these are typically anchored in very deeply in the subconscious. You won't necessarily hear them, although often we speak our beliefs all the time, but you will definitely feel them as you begin to embrace abundance, as you begin to embrace more freedom or more joy or more love, any type of expansion. So if you have felt like, oh yes, I want to have this amazing abundant life and joy and health, and yes, I'm ready to let it be easy, and then you feel all this contraction that happens when you actually try to love yourself more, or leave a relationship that's abusive, or leave a job that you hate, or ask for more money, or anything that equals expansion, and you feel the pain of that, it's time to begin to release the brakes, to let go of these limiting beliefs, these perspectives that we hold, and everything that goes along with them. So stay tuned for today. I'm going to be sharing some specific tools that you can do that repattern what's happening in your nervous system, in your brain, in your immune system, every aspect of your body, to help you release this easily. It does not need to be work. It does not need to be hard. And I'm super excited to invite others into the fluidity of this because it can be so much more fun. So welcome to today's episode of Mind Body TV, and love to everyone who is joining here live, Alex and Nicole, Randy, Michael, hello, Angela, Anna, Melanie, Maddie. Oh my gosh, there's like so many people coming in all at once. Janet, all right. Oh, welcome everyone. Siebel says, I finally made it to one of your live calls. Ha, hello. Okay, it's Cece. Oh, this is great. Thank you for all you do. You're very welcome. Martha, hello. Joanne. All right, so I love receiving, little hearts and likes and comments to know like what's really hitting home and what people are excited to hear about, what's really landing, and also hearing where are you from, where are you tuning in from. I know we have people from all over the world, which is so exciting because we're uniting in this space of unity consciousness and in this space of abundance consciousness. And it is still sort of like a sliver of the population who are really awakening to this. But it is happening within every single human being to some degree. So more and more and more as we ourselves connect in this space of this awakening, and we take off the brakes and release these old limitations, we awaken so fully that it awakens others. It actually is an electrochemical event. People feel it in their cells, and it creates a major change in the way they think about everything. If you have been one of the people who are kind of looking at everyone around you like, oh my gosh, they really don't get it, and I'm doomed because my whole world is totally stuck and here I am awakening, just take comfort in knowing there's so much more that's happening beneath the surface than what we necessarily see. So it's almost like if you see say someone's like standing at the altar ready to get married and make this commitment that they know is not right. And you're looking as an onlooker like, well, the day is done. They're going to get married. It's over. This is the commitment they're making. But inside them, you don't realize how much they're saying, wait a minute, I know I shouldn't do this. I know this isn't really what I want. And they're like just about to say, hey, wait a minute, let's rethink the whole thing. But from the outside, it looks like, oh, no, it's a done deal. Like everyone's going in this direction and they're not awakening and they're making this lifelong commitment and it's over. It's not. It's so subconscious that everyone around you is feeling it, even if they're not aware of it, even if they're not speaking it, even if they're not sharing it, and even if they do seem like they're completely and utterly committed to this other thing that's more of a contracted, shut down life with like a job that's, not creating more expansion, or a relationship that's not really their own expansion. It's okay if it looks like your world is about, people say go to hell in a handbasket. There is a massive awakening happening, and it's happening beneath the surface still for many of us. So for today, we're going to talk about how do we release these limiting beliefs. A lot of times we become aware of what they are, like, oh, I'm so contracted around money, and there's all this money fear, and oh, I was raised with all this lack and limitation, or I was told you have to work hard, and that's what being a good person really means, or money doesn't come easy, or whatever I've learned. And then we have the awareness of that, and it actually makes us feel worse, because we're like, well, this is a major puzzle now. This is a big conundrum. I've got my work cut out for me, because look at all this stuff that's in here. And nothing could be further from the truth. Our awareness of what we've been holding is actually all that's required to allow it to shift. And our awareness of it is the most powerful thing that allows the transmutation. So I want to say that right up front, because I am going to be sharing some really powerful tools that I love that help us move through things more smoothly. But it's so important to realize that just your awareness is the light that allows these things to shift and change. So when you become aware, and I had another ER doc speak to me yesterday, who said, well, you were an emergency medicine doctor, and now you're doing this way more expansive thing, and I want to move into that for myself. But the more I've really taken the steps, the more I can feel all the contraction and fear. And she said, what's coming up is this whole thing of like, what if they take my license away now that I'm not complying with what, the conventional wisdom or the conventional thinking says I'm supposed to be doing? I'm more listening to my wisdom and sharing something else. Am I going to get shut down? Am I going to get in trouble? All this fear. Will it not be okay? Will I make enough money? Will I leave this thing that's this secure thing, and now I'm going to venture into the unknown? Will it be okay? And she was really feeling all of her fears now that she's beginning to choose something more expansive. So what we'll do a lot of times when we feel that much fear is like go sit and like, okay, let me back off, so I don't have to feel too much fear. Let me take a year off and rearrange my hardwiring and let go of my limiting beliefs, and like, then I can reapproach this expansion. No. You actually have to release the brakes while you are moving forward, because you won't feel them or notice them or see them when you slow down. Kind of a conundrum, but she was very much aware of that. And she said, yeah, I'm going to really keep embracing this and moving forward and letting these fears dissolve. But for all of us, just the awareness of them, breathe into the fear, breathe into the contraction, breathe into the, even if it's physical tension, and breathe out with total awareness. That alone, you can even let your body know, body, it's okay to let this go. It's okay. We really are free to soar forward. Just that awareness alone, and using the breath, can shift eons and eons of old limiting beliefs, thoughts, and ideas in the lineage or that you've held yourself. And it's great to have some tools that help assist your hardwiring in releasing that. So the basic few things I want to share first, you've got to be choosing your expansion. If you're not choosing your expansion, but instead kind of hiding or slowing down so that you don't feel too much of the contraction or the part of you that says you can't, you're actually you're shutting down your life force. Even if you think, oh, but it's making me sick, or it's making me stressed, or there's so much anxiety, it's okay. It's actually better to lean into it and help your body release it than to lean away from it so you don't feel so intensely. You can do this. So you must be choosing your expansion. We have the Embracing Health program coming up in a few weeks. We're going to be starting live. And I've had dozens and dozens of people who've said to me, I've really, really wanted to choose this. Oh, but I don't have the money. I really, really want to choose this. Oh, but I'm too busy. I can't do it. I really want to choose it. But, I've tried other things in the past and I don't think this will work for me. So they listen to their fear rather than listen to their yes. If it's truly a yes and it's truly a heart's desire, it will feel like this speeding up and this joy of expansion, even if there's fear. And for many people, as soon as they choose, those fears all come to a head and they'll be like, oh my gosh, because now that they've actually, pressed the button, said yes, made their commitment, made their investment, everything will come to a head even more. And I've always just invited people, and I'll share this with you, for whatever you're choosing as your yes, let that happen. That's like the pus coming to a head, and it's going to burst out and pop out and release, and your body's no longer holding that crap. Do not try to just suppress it back down where it kind of seems more okay, but it's just that all that pus and like the limiting beliefs and the fear and whatever of I can't just get back integrated in your system, but you're obeying that law so you don't really feel the discomfort. No, 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 no. Let yourself move through it so that it releases. So the most important piece is that we choose our yes. What are you really inspired about? What do you really love? Even if it's just, I would love to feel vibrantly healthy. Oh, but it feels so bad to want that because I'm exhausted and I'm in bed all day and I can't have it. Shouldn't I just accept my situation and be comfortable with where I am? No, that is not what embracing is about at all. It's about embracing the yes that's in you, of this desire for unbelievable vitality that I can't even imagine having, and letting everything that comes up be released, not fighting it, not fixing it, not backing down to it, not analyzing it, but just letting your body do the transmutation. Okay, so you're choosing your yes, you're feeling what arises as a result, uncomfortable as it may be. You can do the breath, use the breath to allow yourself to just breathing in. I feel what's coming up for me. I feel this pain or fear. Breathing out. It's okay for me to move through this and release this. Okay, so that's your first piece. What are the things you can do to allow this integration to happen more fluidly? Well, one of them I really love. I shared the other day, I think it was just a few days ago, I shared it on my YouTube and in the Mind Body community. And you basically take your hands and cross the wrists one over the other, and then you clasp your hands together. So you got to cross your wrists and then kind of twist your arms so the hands are facing each other. And then you just clasp your hands together. So your wrists are crossed. You can, if you like, loop them through the arms, loop your hands toward your heart and let them come up, and let the elbows rest down. It doesn't matter as long as you've got your wrist crossed. And then the second piece is you cross your ankles. So you're crossing at the ankles and crossing at the wrist. This allows a communication between right and left brain of the output, and a communication between right and left brain of the sensory input. You're crossing your nervous system. Donna Eden has a huge body of work in energy medicine about the energy system of the body and how this crossover affects patterns in the brain. So you cross your wrists, you cross your ankles, and you can do this laying down, you can do this seated, you can do this standing like I did in the video, but you need some good balance in order to do it like that. And you just take a few minutes to breathe. You let everything that's coming up that you notice, this pain, this fear, this idea that I can't have it, I can't be that healthy, I've already tried 8 million ways to be healthy, and I guess I'm just gonna have to accept my plight, and I'm never gonna be able to get out of bed, or I'm never gonna have a pain-free day, or this is just how it's gonna be for me and I have to accept it, whatever all that is, and telling your system it's okay to let this go and everything that goes along with it fully and completely. It's okay to release this. And so you breathe in, and you breathe out. You can also connect with the vision of what your heart is asking for. So you can feel into the limitations and let your body know, body, you can let this go. And you can feel into the expansion of, what if I could have it that amazingly expansive and beautiful and fluid and free? What if I could have my health look like this, or my business look like this, or my body feel like this? And envisioning what is your heart's desire. At some point, you're going to cross over, opposite wrist over the other and opposite ankle over the other. So change out the cross and spend a few minutes. You can do 2 minutes on each side, or even just a few breaths on each side. Really, really powerful. take a couple of minutes and just feeling into this yes. Even if I don't know what it looks like, who would I be with, or what would I be doing in this new work that I'd be doing, or what would I be doing with all my health and vitality? It's a matter of feeling the essence of it. I feel joyful. I feel so much gratitude. I feel fully alive. I feel a true sense of serenity. I've released the old idea of external security. I'm in this grounded state of serenity, and I let my life reflect that. Good. So take a deep breath and release the cross. You've just given a message, a powerful message to your brain. Hey, this is the alignment we're ready to be in. This is the alignment we're ready to embody. And your brain will release all the old patterns and sort of receive the new download of what your life is ready to be, of what you're ready to live. So that's one really great way to do it. I'm going to look at some of the comments, and I love the little hearts coming across the screen when this hits home. Martha says, I'm happy to join today. Anya, so glad to be here. Zabi, that's a cool name. Just got lost sound. Anybody else? Okay, I think we're pretty good, I hope. Courtney says, yay, Kim, I'm ready for this. Maybe just log back in if that happens. Anna from Germany, woohoo! Rita from Alabama, Wendy, hello. All right, so we've got some questions too. Rachel, how do you release the fear of regressing back to ill health after having made so much progress? This is a fear that's keeping me stuck right now and preventing me from moving out of my comfort zone. Yeah, like the trepidation. Same thing, you can cross your ankles and cross your wrists. I'm aware of this trepidation. I'm aware that I'm kind of withholding living full out because I'm so afraid of falling back. This old pattern that I don't have the health I need, so I better not waste it. This old pattern where the other shoe's gonna drop because it really is too good to be true. This old pattern of all the beliefs I have where I really can't have it that good. It really can't be that easy for me. So you can cross your wrists over and just embody and embrace a new pattern. You can even just put your hands on your heart to witness this. So that's the second thing I'm going to share is how powerful it is to put your hands on your heart. This also connects you with a different energy center in the body that allows transmutation. Transmutation is just, you put your stuff in the trash bin and then you actually empty the trash on your computer. Until you empty the trash, it's still there and it can come back. You can take something out of the trash and put that program back on your computer and start running it again. And that's called a trigger. Something triggers you and you're like, oh, I just pulled that program out of the trash. I said, I love everything. I love myself exactly as I am. But geez, then I go to holidays with my family and I'm like, I'm going to kill someone. So we're going to actually empty the trash. And that's what these transmutation exercises do, is it actually converts that energy back to pure love. So hands on your heart and witnessing, being with that part of you that feels like all this fear, all this trepidation, all the old energy of what you felt before and how limiting it was. And this awareness of, oh, I'm afraid to live full out because of how ingrained it's been in the past that I really can't have that. So what we're doing here with the hands on the heart, you're repatterning your nervous system, you're repatterning your brain, and also with the exercise with the wrists and ankles crossed. It's kind of like when you have the little baby elephants and they're taught really early on, that they can't get past this little rope. They put a little rope around them and those elephants have to stay in that one spot. So they find they can't, I'm not strong enough to break through this rope. It's too strong for me. I'm not big enough to jump over this rope. It's too high for me. And they learn, and it gets ingrained in their brain, I can't go past this. This is my barrier. I'm just going to call it a day and live in this small space. And that's why they say elephants have such a great memory, because it gets patterned into their brains so early what they can and cannot do. And then the conclusion about, what's possible. This rope is too strong. It's too high. It's too big. I have to stay in here. And we are like that. We're living like those elephants where we haven't revisited the conclusion. So now there are these big, strong elephants. They could easily break through that rope, shred it up, just take an easy step without even noticing it and walk right over it. But because they're in that conclusion, they don't even consider. It's already been made. This is what is. And it's the same thing here, Rachel. In your brain, there's a pattern. I can't have it. It's not okay. It's not safe. Many, many things around this. So you can just let your body know, like hands on your heart, everything that's associated with this limitation, everything that goes along with it, all the old brain patterns that have been laid down solidly that I haven't been able to get beyond. I'm ready to release this now. It's okay for me to release all of this hardwiring completely and fully. So with hands on your heart, that's another way of like emptying out the trash, deleting, converting, and transmuting all those old programs forever. She's gone on to say, I've moved forward so much in the last 6 months with my health since learning from you, but this fear is real as I feel so scared of going back to being severely ill again. I'm frightened that if I push myself, this is what will happen. It's a great point you're making, because I had a friend's husband who's been dealing with some health challenges, and he said, well, how do I know when to push through or when I have to back off? And he's been dealing with chronic fatigue. And I said, hey, you're done. There's no more push. You never get to push through again. It's a matter of integrating a new way of living where I honor myself fully and completely. I allow life to come through me, and I let life live through me. So all of my choices have to be what makes me feel most fully alive. None of them get to be, oh, if I could just do this thing and push through, I know I can get what I really want, because I'm just so afraid of not having it be how I want. So let me push really hard because I know I really need to do this, and then I can be free. Pushing is not going to happen anymore. That happens from urgency, and it comes from the space or the mindset of separation. I got to work really, really, really hard. And if I just work hard enough, I'll get the success thing happening. If I just, do more and do more, I'll finally feel worthy. That's what the push is. And your body's actually on your side for you being more alive, releasing push forever and embracing something higher. That's very much what the Embracing Health program is about. For those of you who this resonates for, it's at drkimd.com/health. This is the last time we're going to be running it this way, where I do it live with you as a live integration, and we go through the work this way each month. And we've actually included a lifetime membership. So people who are joining now will be part of this group forever as a continued receiving. Randy says the confusion is, I feel like I've had the awareness of many of these limiting beliefs or stuck places for quite some time, yet they still aren't shifting. Is that because I've not been letting the awareness be enough, or am I still trying too much or have too much attachment? So feel into that, Randy. I feel like I've had the awareness of many of these limiting beliefs or stuck places, but they still aren't shifting. Okay, so to the degree where they're not shifting is always the degree to where you're still holding resistance. So, and I know it just sounds like, well, what? I'm not resisting. It really is staying. It really won't go anywhere. But what I've learned is that when I'm actually not in resistance anymore, it doesn't even matter whether they're sticking around and still resolving or they're already completed. And I know that sounds like, it's almost like we've got to convince ourselves that we feel good unconditionally. We've got to choose to feel good unconditionally, even though these things are sticking around. You aren't going to feel better because this thing finally left and, oh, thank God I don't have to deal with that anymore. You actually let yourself feel better in the choosing of you. So it's like I choose myself, and then everything, all of it's going to hit the fan. Everything is going to come up to be seen. And I actually stay in a space of serenity with what is. Okay, here it is. It's coming up. I can feel it. It's intense. It's kind of uncomfortable. I'm a little bit not wanting to do this, but I will stay present with this and breathe. So if I'm still in the focus of like, it's not gone yet, it's not gone yet, it's not gone yet, these tools will help immensely. Stay open to how life is ready to assist you, and it will take the timing that it takes. So it's like, okay, it's going to be another week, and then this is going to happen, or it's another week, and then, oh, I found this tool that really helped the repatterning. But I've got to sit with this as long as I've got to sit with this, as long as it's here for me. So like that Rumi poem where I won't be verbalizing this so well, but anger is at the door, and resentment and hatred, and okay, it's like the uninvited guest or something about the guest, and you welcome it in. Okay, stay as long as you like. Here I am. Let's have some tea and be present to what is. So it's okay to just invite more of that. Patty from Ohio, hello. And says, I watched your video showing this and used it while in an Epsom salt bath, and it was very powerful. Well, I received this, it was probably about a month ago, and certainly in the midst of what I was aware of was my greatest expansion of all time. And I shared that a few weeks ago, like the unbelievably heavy energies clearing out because of so much lightness coming in. Sometimes being aware that we're in a massive expansion or our greatest expansion, that alone can give us a little more fluidity with being willing to move through it. And it just so happened that during that exact phase is when I received this exercise. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. And it was really, really powerful. So even though the mind's like, well, I wish I had this years ago, it's because I've been willing to be present and embrace what is that I allow things to move forward more fluidly. So like decades and decades of whatever it is can move through in 2 minutes. But hey, it took me decades to get that tool. So it's not that I didn't need to sit with it to let it, sand down the rough spots of me. Wendy says, embracing and accepting are two different things. Not so much. It's more that when we have the resignation, like, oh, I'm going to resign myself. I guess I just have to deal with this as it is. And people think that's accepting. And so they get confused between what really embracing is and what this idea of like, in the end, you really are going to be on your own. So you might as well just deal with it. Like the sarcasm of that versus the truth, that embracing, we go into a higher place in order to embrace what is, but we resign ourselves to a lower place when we say, oh, I guess I just have to accept this. And it's, just the way it is. It's not going to change. That's a lower frequency. Anna says, I feel the expansion, but I don't know in which direction to go or what do I really want to do? How do I get there? Beautiful. So with this, there really is no there. There's, I choose to be more fluid with what is in this moment. There's, I choose to embrace everything I'm experiencing in this moment more fully. So we can embrace greater fluidity right now. There is nowhere else to get. So it's not a matter of going to the mind and like thinking, where do I go? What direction do I go? What does it look like? Just breathe and relax, and that will be enough because that is a greater sense of ease. Anya, can you say something about surrender? Sometimes when I let things go, I stop trying so hard to change things. Good. But there seems to be a difference between surrender and giving up. Yeah. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this and how it relates to expansion. Thank you. This is a great question. So surrender is not resignation. The surrender we're allowing here with embracing expansion allows everything to transmute. So of course, it's allowing change to happen very often instantaneously, or at least really, 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 really quickly. The change isn't something I'm doing or I'm making or I'm forcing. So you don't have to fear that like, oh, if I surrender it, then I'm never going to change it. It's always going to be exactly how it is. And I'm just going to be in this energy forever. The essence of embracing, like I just explained, it's like, here I am in this moment, resisting and trying to change. Here I am in this exactly same moment, allowing and releasing and embracing. And one of them is a higher frequency than the other. So when we're in that higher frequency of embracing, it allows transmutation to happen for us. Whether it's the download of, oh, why don't I just press that button and then that will do what I want and everything's going to be fine. Or it just happens. There isn't even a choice that needs to be made. Or we end up receiving someone contributing to us exactly what we need. The shift in frequency is what allows us to experience change. So it isn't, no, you got to keep persisting, and then you finally make this change. If your efforts are in urgency or angst, you will not allow something more fluid to come in. Emily says, OMG, this is such a perfect timing for me. I found myself falling in love with a man who I keep trying to convince myself isn't right. I see all the ways we aren't compatible and will drive each other crazy. Woo, but my heart's just saying yes, yes, yes. And it's bringing up all these old fears and beliefs that I'm going to choose someone who isn't good enough, and I'm going to choose to be happy that I'm not going to choose to be happy with what I choose, that I don't fit with anyone, that I can't be okay unless the person is perfect. I love the focus on returning again and again to what I'm choosing. Amen. I will say for sure that my husband is undoubtedly the divine partner I'm meant to be with right now for unbelievable expansion in my life. It's allowed and invited me to be more resilient, to be more fluid, and to release a lot of crap I was holding. It is not freaking comfortable. And does it drive me crazy? Holy freaking cow. Yes, it drives me crazy sometimes. And there's pretty much always a knowing that it's exactly what I require to open more fully, to receive more fully, and to let go of exactly what's the stuff that I don't want to carry. So it has invited me into my greatest expansion, and it's probably been the most uncomfortable, not like on a routine basis every day uncomfortable, but uncomfortable moments in any relationship I've ever had. My husband and my mother, I think those two relationships have invited me to evolve the most. And I'm not quote unquote there yet. Like I still get little glitches with that. And always those glitches, when I move with them instead of resisting them, invite me into unbelievable expansion. So amen. Way to go. Jenny says, I needed some of your light today. Randy says, I get that. And Alex says, every time I get myself close to integrating this work completely, my soul starts to show me my purpose and I clamp back down because of my inability to speak my truth. All right, so that whole sentence is a lie. And if you read it to yourself again, you'll just see the contraction in it, because you could reframe that. Like, wow, the more I move into this work, the more discomfort comes up because I'm choosing my expansion. Something's happening here. Because buying into the lie, I have this inability, I'm unable to speak my truth. Not true. I can feel this in my throat area, and my TMJ is the worst it's ever been right now because this energy is so intense. So you could just say, I have not been willing to speak this level of truth before that I'm being invited to speak now. The reason there's this intensity and you feel it in your throat like a big lump in your throat is because the energy that's coming in is asking you to move and release this old idea. And so you can do the harmonization, either one of those that we just did, and just recognize and feel what you're feeling, and recognize something bigger than what's come through before is ready to come through now. And that's why it feels like, the birth of the baby coming through this small space. It's time for me to expand. And so you can use, EFT is a very expansive harmonization. It's not always required, but you can use a couple points with EFT. Side of the eye, just tap, tap, tap. This idea that I am not able, I have this inability to speak my truth. Where did that idea come from? This inability to speak my truth. Wherever I believe that, I can let this go now. And you can tap underneath the eye. All this TMJ pain, this feeling in my throat, all the ways I haven't been willing to speak my truth. And then under the nose, life is inviting me to live something bigger, to live something more expansive. Just breathing the whole time, right on the chin. Would I be willing to say yes and allow this? And just breathing under the collarbone, even though I don't know how, even though I think I need to know what to do, this old way of being. And then under the arm, it's time for me to live in a new way, which is more about allowing. Good. And then breathing and tapping the top of the head. All the ways I'm not ready to live that way, all the ways I'm still clamping down. Yep. And stay right on the top of the head. And you can repeat this after me. You can just say it to yourself. I wonder what it would take for me to allow some of this to release right now. Good. And then just breathe in and breathe out. She's got on to say, I'm trying to have compassion for this part of me that doesn't want to move forward. I just can't seem to put my finger on exactly what I'm resisting. That's okay. You can put your finger on what you're feeling in your throat. You can put your finger on what's happening in your TMJ. It will bring up the energy for you. So if you're feeling that physical pain, you're like, oh, this is driving me crazy. Oh my God, this is so annoying. It will bring up all the thoughts and beliefs and ideas and emotions that are exactly the ones that are ready to move out. That's the gift of your physical pain. The pain will bring up what it is. I had this shoulder thing going on. It was a couple months ago, and I had shared this before, and I was like, oh my God, I'm so annoyed. I'm listening, doing all these things. Why isn't it moving? And I'm like, oh, here I am being annoyed with my body. I'm responding with annoyance. My body's here to give me this message. And I'm like, oh, can't you do it the way I want you to do it? I can't hear you. I'm so annoyed with you. That's not how I actually need to be with my body. And so it trained me to be loving and compassionate unconditionally with what's arising in my body. And that was what was required to let that release, is to be that present and that loving, no matter how long it's taking or what it feels like. Okay, I'm going to complete in just a minute. Maddie says, I wanted to share since your post about forgiveness, I really went inward to forgiving everything. And it opened up the floodgates on things from my past that I never could forgive myself for. It's been really intense. And I know forgiveness comes in layers, but it opened me up to forgiving myself for a lifetime of self-abuse, abusive thinking, shame, and choices that I made in my past. Things are now unfolding rapidly of what else is ready to release. Wow. That is beautiful. I shared, I think it was 2 weeks ago in the Mind Body TV episode of Ascension Symptoms Part 1, and there was a beautiful exercise to do for the heart work. All right, beautiful, everyone. I'm so excited to have had you here live, and also for those of you who are listening to the recording, we have lots of amazing things coming over the next year, including my new book that's going to come out, I think, in the spring. We don't exactly have a date yet, but I've been very, very creative, and it has all happened through stillness, through slowing down. If you think of that wave that comes and it swells and it swells and it swells, and it's like a pulling back, and then the energy pours forward, and there's this robust, unthinkable power of the wave just coursing forward and crashing forward and coming forward. I very much felt like it was that pregnant pause. It was not stagnation, but it can be misconstrued as stagnation if we're plugged into our outer reality and interpreting that that is our essence, or that is who I am. I am this, I am my work, I am my productivity, I am what I'm creating. And then we go into this pregnant pause, which is the most powerful thing we can be. And then we judge it because we think, oh, I'm being stagnant, I'm not creating. Why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing that? Why am I in bed for 10 hours? I should be doing this. We've got to be willing to embrace all parts of the cycle in order to fully allow what's ready to come through. So there's like amazing things being created now. And I've been so supported in that pause. Like, just like when you think a pregnant woman, you don't want to be going out and toiling away and like, oh, I've got to go create. You want to put all your energy into what you are creating, because you're unbelievably creating in the space of the unseen. The child's not out, it's inside, but it's growing and developing, and you've got to let that child be fed and nurtured with everything you've got before it can come into the world. So if you're in that pregnant pause, just nurture yourself like never before. Allow these completions of old limitations, thoughts, ideas, beliefs, identities that go along with them. Your body will come up as you choose your yes. So once again, the essential ingredient in the mix is choose your yes. Yes, I do feel like I want to do something more expansive. Yes, I do feel like I've outgrown this relationship and I want to release this in love and compassion. Yes, I do feel like I'm going to move to a different state. Yes, I do want to take that trip. Yes, I do want to go into that relationship more fully. Like, whatever it is, follow your yes, because it will create more, even though it might bring up a lot more fear and a lot more discomfort as you release the old patterns. So hope this has been helpful, and sending so much love to all of you. Definitely invite others that you know to the membership. There is space for more. It's at drkimd.com/membership if you know others who would like to play in this energy and receive. Lots of love, everyone, and I'll see you next week. I'll be posting the heart work over the next 24 hours or so in the members area as well. Bye.